Hello everyone and welcome to Foundation of Economics. I'm Dr. Magda Mustafa Sadiq, your instructor for this course, and I'm thrilled to be with you as we embark on this journey to explore the fascinating world of economics. As an associate professor of applied economics, I have spent years studying how economic principles shape decisions in businesses, governments, and everyday life. My goal is to make this course both insightful and practical, helping you understand how economics influences the world around you. Since this is an online course, I want to ensure you feel connected and supported. Whether you are joining us from across the region or across the globe, this course is designed to be engaging, interactive, and accessible. I encourage you to participate actively through our online platform, whether it is through discussion forums, assignments, or reaching out with questions. Welcome again. So let us start to define what is economics. Economics is about how people, businesses, and governments make choices when they cannot have everything they want because resources like money, time, or goods are limited. It looks at how these choices affect individuals and society using tools like math, data, and ideas to understand and predict what happens. Imagine you have $10 to spend at a store, but you want both a $7 sandwich and a $5 drink. You can't buy both because you don't have enough money. Economics studies how you decide what to buy, why you made that choice, and what happens because of it. It also looks at bigger decisions, like how a country decides to spend its money on schools or hospitals. The key ideas that we need to discuss here is that there is scarce resources. There is never enough of everything, like labor, capital, land, or enterprises. For example, a bakery only have enough flour to make 100 loaves of bread, but 150 people want bread. Economics studies how the bakery decides who gets the bread and how it's priced. The second point is choices and trade-offs, where every choice means giving up something else. So if you spend your $10 on the sandwich, you cannot buy the drink. If a government builds a new road, it might have less money for schools. And therefore, economics helps understand these trade-offs. Economics also study supply and demand, and this is about how much of something is available, supply, and how much people want it, demand. So if a new video game is super popular, highly demanded, but there are only a few copies, which means a low supply of it, the price goes up. So economics also predicts this price change. Economics also studies markets and systems, where economics look at how people buy and sell things in markets, like a foreign market or the stock market. It also studies how governments or companies make rules for these markets. For example, if a city sets a minimum wage, Economics can predict if workers earn more or if some lose jobs. So think of economics like planning a party on a budget. You decide how much to spend on food, music, or decoration, knowing you cannot afford everything. So economics help you make smart choices and understand what happens next, like if guests love the food but wish there was better music. Now you are already familiar with concepts that we um, implicitly discussed, but we didn't say the actual terminologies for them, like the opportunity cost or market equilibrium, and that we are going to discuss in the coming lectures. So, economics use models like supply demand curves and data like gross domestic product or inflation rates to analyze real-world issues such as why gas prices rise or how taxes affect business. In conclusion, economics help us understand everyday things like why your favorite coffee costs more now, or big issues like how a country recovers from a recession. It's about making better decisions with what we have, whether you are a student, a business owner, or a government leader. As I have mentioned in the previous slide, that economics is about how people, businesses, and countries make choices with limited resources like land, labor, capital, materials, whatever is. So it's like figuring out how to share a pizza when everyone's hungry, but there is only so much to go around. Let us break this into simple parts with examples so everyone, whether you are economist or not, can understand. Let us start by individual and firm behavior and making choices. This is about how people and business decide what to do with their money, time, or resources. So everyone wants something, but they cannot have everything. So they choose what is best for them. Uh, Imagine you have $20. You can buy a pizza or save it for a movie ticket. You decide based on what makes you happier or suits your needs. Economists study why you pick one over the other. Let us take another example for a film. A bakery decides whether to make 100 cupcakes or 50 cakes. They choose based on what customers want and what makes more money. So economists also look at how businesses make these choices. The second scope is markets and industries. How things get priced. Markets are like big trading places where buyers and sellers meet. Think of a farmer's market or an online store. Prices, amounts made, and resources used depends on how much people want something, demand, and how much is available, supply. So if lots of people want apples, this means high demand for apples, but aren't many, which means low supply of apples. Therefore, the prices goes up. If a store has too many apples, high supply, but no one wants them, low demand, the price drops down. Therefore, economists study how this balance works in markets like foods, clothes, or even technological markets. The third point is national and global economies. This looks at how a whole country or the world uses resources. Economists track things like total value of everything a country makes, GDP, gross domestic product, inflation, the rising prices, unemployment, people without jobs, and trade, buying and selling between countries. So if a country's gross domestic product grows, it means businesses are making more stuff like cars or clothes, and people are spending more. But if inflation rises, your $5 coffee might cost $6 next year. Economics study these numbers to see if a country's economy is doing well or not. The fourth point is public policy. Government's role. Governments step in to guide the economy with rules, taxes, or help like subsidies, money to support businesses or people. So economists check if these policies work well or cause problems. For example, if the government gives farmers money, subsidies to grow corn, more corn might be produced, making food cheaper. But if the government taxes sugary drinks, soda prices goes up and people might buy less. So economics study whether these policies help people or the economy. The fifth point is the specialized fields in economy. Economics has many branches that focus on specific topics like jobs, the environment, or how people think. We have labor economics, environmental economics, knowledge economy, zero carbon economy, and others. So economics help us understand how the world works, why things cost, what they do, why some people have jobs and others do not, or how government decisions affect the life of the people. Whether you are an economist studying fancy models or just someone curious about why gas prices keep changing, economics give you tools to make sense of it all. Let us break down the methodology of economics in a simple way so everyone can understand. Think of economics as a way to figure out how people, business, and government make choices about money, resources, and trade. Economists use a few key tools and approaches to study this. So I'm going to explain each one with easy examples. We have theoretical models, making simple maps of the world. What is it? Economists create simplified models to predict how people or markets might act. These are like sketches or maps that focuses on the main ideas, ignoring extra details. Imagine you are planning a trip. Instead of mapping every tree and rock, you use a simple map showing roads and cities. In economics, a supply-demand curve is like that map. It shows how prices change based on how much people want something, demand it, and how much is available supply. For instance, if a new video game is super popular, highly demanded, but there aren't many copies, low supplied, as I have told you in the previous example, the price goes up. So the model predicts this without needing every detail about the game store. These models help economists guess what might happen in markets. Like if a tax makes soda more expensive, people might buy less. The second methodology is empirical analysis, checking ideas with real data. This is when economists use real-world numbers and statistics to test if their models are correct. It's like double-checking your map by actually driving the route. Suppose an economist thinks raising the minimum wage, and this helps workers to earn more. They collect data on wages and jobs from different towns, then use mathematics or statistics to see if higher minimum wage really lead to better pay or if they cause job losses. This number crunching is called econometrics. It shows whether ideas work in the real world, not just on paper. For example, data might show that a higher minimum wage increases pay but doesn't cut jobs in some areas. The third methodology is normative versus positive economics. Positive economics is about facts, what is actually happening. It's like saying it is raining outside. Normative economics is about opinions, what should happen. It's like saying we should all carry umbrellas. So positive economics can be, or I can give you an example about positive economics, like raising taxes on sugary drinks reduces how much soda people buy. This is a fact you can test with data. While in normative economics, for example, the government should tax sugary drinks to make people healthier. This is an opinion because it depends on what you think is good. So positive economics help us understand the world, while normative economics help us decide what to do about it, like whether a policy is a good idea. The fourth methodology, interdisciplinary tool, borrowing ideas from other fields. Economics doesn't just use math and numbers. It also borrows ideas from psychology, how people think, sociology, how people act, political science, how governments work to understand choices better. Imagine a store wants to sell more cookies. Psychology might explain why people buy more cookies if they are labeled healthy, even if they are not. While sociology could show how friends influence each other to buy trendy snacks. Political science might look at how a new law banning sugary snacks affects sales. Economists mix these ideas with math and statistics to get a fuller picture. So it makes economics more realistic by considering how people and societies actually behave, not just what numbers predict. All right, let us break down these economic ideas or concepts: scarcity, opportunity cost, and economic decision making in a super simple way so everyone, whether you are an economist or not, can understand. I will use everyday examples to make it clear, especially for non-economists. Scarcity. There is not enough for everyone's wants. Scarcity means there is only a limited amount of resources, like workers, land, or capital, or whatever is, or like time, money, or things that we can use. But people want way more than what is available. Because of this, we have to make choices about what to do with what we have. Imagine you have $10 to spend at a food truck, but you want a burger, $8, fries, $4, and a drink, $3. Your $10 isn't enough to buy everything. This is scarcity. You can't have it all, so you have to choose what to buy. Scarcity forces us to pick and choose wisely, whether it is your money, your time, like only 2 hours to study, or resources like limited water in a desert. We have to decide how to use what is available. So think of scarcity like having only one pizza for a party, but everyone wants multiple slices. You can't give everyone everything, so you decide to get how much, who gets how much. The second concept is opportunity cost. What you give up, what is it? Opportunity cost is the thing you miss out on when you choose one option over another. It's the value of the next best thing you could have done with your time, money, or resources. Let us say you have 2 hours tonight. You can either study for a test or watch a movie with friends. If you choose to study, the opportunity cost is the fun you miss out on with your friends. If you choose the movie, the opportunity cost is a better grade you might have gotten by studying. Every choice has a trade-off. Knowing the opportunity cost helps you think about whether your decision is worth it. So imagine you have $20 and can either buy a new phone case or go out to eat with friends. If you buy the phone case, you give up the meal and the fun with your friends. That is the opportunity cost. The third concept is economic decision making, making smart choices. Economic decision making is about weighing the pros, benefits, and cons cost to make the best choice with the limited stuff you have. People make decisions to get the most value, like happiness for individuals or profit for businesses, based on what they can afford and what motivates them. You are at a store with $50. You see a cool jacket for $40 and a book for $15. You really want the jacket, but you also need the book for school. You think, benefit of the jacket, it looks awesome and keeps you warm. Cost of the jacket, $40, so you can't buy the book. Benefit of the book, helps you pass your class. Cost of the book, only $15, so you could buy it and still have $35 left. You decide to buy the book because passing your exams is more important right now. That is economic decision making, choosing what gives you the most value. We make these choices every day, like whether to spend money on coffee or save it, or whether a business should make more phones or laptops. Incentives like discounts and limits like budgets guide these decisions. So scarcity makes you choose because you can't have everything, like limited money for food, while opportunity cost reminds you that every choice means giving up something else. Economic decision making is about picking the option that gives you the most benefit of the cost, like buying a book instead of a jacket to help with school. I hope hope that you understand the key concepts of economics. Let us come to the approaches of the economics and let us distinguish between microeconomics and macroeconomics. Microeconomics look at how individual people, businesses, or small markets make decisions about the resources of economics. It's like zooming in on small parts of the economy, such as a single shop or a person's choices, rather than the whole country economy. So, the key topics in microeconomics include supply and demand dynamics. Supply is how much of something like coffee or phones businesses want to sell, while demand is how much people want to buy. Prices change based on how much is available or supplied and how much people want it or demand it. So imagine a lemonade stand. If it is a hot day, lots of people want lemonade, high demand, so the prices might goes up. If the stand has too much lemonade, high supply, and few buyers, the price might drop to sell it faster. This helps explain why things like concert tickets or gas prices goes up or down. The second key topic in microeconomics is consumer behavior, or what is known as utility maximization. Consumers like me and you try to get the most satisfaction or happiness from what we buy with our limited money. So we make choices based on what gives us the highest utility. So if you have $10 and want a snack, you could buy a $5 burger or a $3 ice cream. You choose the ice cream because it makes you happier for less money. That is mean you maximizing your utility. So business studies this to know what people will buy, like why you pick one brand of phone over another. The third key topic is firm production and pricing strategies. Firms or business decide how much to make and what price to charge to earn the most profit. They think about cost like ingredients or workers and what customers are willing to pay. A coffee shop figures out it costs $2 to make a latte for coffee beans, milk, and stuff. They charge $5 because people will pay that, and the extra $3 is their profit. If a new coffee shop opens nearby, they might lower the price to $4 to keep customers. This explains how business decide prices for things like food or video games, clothes, or whatever others. The fourth key topic of microeconomics is market structures. Markets can work differently depending on how many businesses are selling something and how much control they have over prices. There are different types of markets like perfect competition, where there are many small businesses sell the same product. And we have monopoly, where only one firm selling the product. So microeconomics help us understand small everyday decisions like why a phone costs $1,000, why you pick one soda over another, or why a small business might close if prices are too low. It's about the choices we all make and how they affect the world around us. The second approach of economics is macroeconomics. And macroeconomics is like looking at the big picture of a country's or the world's economy. It focuses on how everything works together, not just one person or one firm. Think of it as studying the whole forest, not just one tree. It covers things like how much a country produces, how prices change, how many people have jobs, and how money flows between countries. So the key topics in macroeconomics: aggregate indicators, the big numbers. These are like the economy report card. They tell us how the economy is doing overall. For example, we have the gross domestic product, GDP. This is the total value of everything a country makes. Goods like cars and food, and services like education and health. Imagine a small town where people make bread, clothes, and teach kids. If they sell $100,000 worth of these things in a year, that is the town's GDP. If they make more bread next year and sell $120,000 worth, GDP grows, showing the economy is doing better. We have also inflation, and this is when prices for products like food, gas, or whatever is goes up over time. Also unemployment, and this measures how many people who want jobs cannot find them. The second point is monetary and fiscal policy. The government tools, government and central banks use tools to keep economy stable. With the monetary policy, this is when the central bank controls how much money is in the economy, often by changing interest rates. So if the economy is slow, the central bank might lower interest rates. This makes it cheaper to borrow money, so people can buy houses or business can invest to boost the economy. We have also fiscal policy, and this is when the government spends money or changes taxes to influence the economy. So if unemployment is high, the government might build new roads, hiring workers and giving them money to spend. We have also economic growth and business cycles. The economy is ups and downs, or economic growth means the economy is getting bigger, producing more goods and services over time. But economies do not grow steadily. They grow through cycle of good times, booms, and bad times, recessions. So a growing economy means more jobs, higher wages, and better living standards. We have also international trade and exchange rates, and this is a global connection. Countries buy and sell goods and services with each other, and this affects the economy, where exchange rates determine how much one country's money is worth compared to another. So countries trade to get what they need or sell what they make. For example, the US might sell apples to Japan and buy cars from Japan. So the exchange rate this is how much one currency is worth in another. If $1 equals 100 Japanese yen today, but next month $1 equals 110 yen. So the government is spending on unemployment during a recession. This is a real world example. The government might spend $1 billion to build the schools. So why macroeconomics matters? Macroeconomics help us understand how to make economies stronger, how we can create jobs, keep prices stable. So it's like learning how the world money machine works, why gas prices rises, why jobs disappear, or why some countries are richer. It's about using data and models like GDP or inflation rates to predict trends and advise governments. Let us also distinguish between positive economics versus normative economics, where positive economics is about looking at the facts of how the economy works without adding opinions or saying what is good or bad. It's like describing what you see happening in the world using numbers and data to explain things clearly. Imagine you are watching a soccer game and just reporting the score or how many goals were made. That is what positive economics does for the economy. It sticks to what is and avoids saying what should be. So this is, for example, how much people who want job do not have them. In 2023, the US unemployment rate was 3.6%. This means out of 100 people looking for work, about 4 couldn't find a job. This is positive economics. It is just a number based on data, not opinion about whether it's good or bad. Also, inflation and prices. Inflation means prices for things like food or gas goes up. So inflation goes up by 2%. $100 grocery bill last year now cost $100 and 2. So if your income doesn't change, you can buy a little less. This is a positive economics. It describes how prices affect buying power using facts without saying if it is fair or unfair. The tax revenue. This is how much money the government gets from taxes. So if a state added a 10% sales tax on shopping, and in 2024 it collected $500 million from it. This is positive economics because it is just reporting the amount collected, not whether the tax is too high or too low. Positive economics help both economists and non-economists understand what's happening in the economy with clear, measurable facts. So economists use these facts to build models or predict trends, like how unemployment might change next year. So also non-economists can use these facts to understand things like why prices are rising or how taxes affect their lives. So by sticking to data, positive economics gives everyone a clear starting point to talk about the economy without getting into arguments about opinions. The second one is normative economics. And normative economics is about opinions on what should happen in the economy based on values or beliefs about what is fair or best. It is not about facts or data, but about what people think ought to be done. Think of it as saying, this is how things should be, not this is how things are. When someone makes a statement about what the economy should do, they are using normative economics. These ideas often come from personal values like fairness, equality, or stability. They are not about hard facts or what is actually happening, but about what someone thinks is the right goal or action. For example, if someone might say the government should make sure everyone has a job, so no one is unemployed. This is a normative idea because it's about what they think is fair or good, not about whether it is possible or what the data shows. Also, if a person could say the bank should keep prices low so people's savings do not lose value, this is normative because it's their opinion on what is more important, low prices versus other goals like creating jobs. Also, you might hear rich people should pay more taxes to help make things fairer to everyone. This is a normative statement because it's based on a belief about fairness, not a fact about how taxes work. Normative economics helps spark discussions about what is best for society. So, normative economics is like giving advice on what is best for the economy, but it depends on someone's values or goals. It is different from just looking at numbers or facts. That is called positive economics. For example, saying unemployment is 5% is a fact, positive. But saying we should lower unemployment to 0%, this is an opinion, normative economics. I hope that I explained everything to you in a better way so you can understand the slides in a better way. You can find also assessment questions with answers in order to strengthen the main ideas that presented in this lecture. Thanks, my student. This is the end of the lecture.